try to present what we've done since many years now and giving examples. But we have prepared a live demo, which is not possible. So we have transformed the demo by trying to insert videos into the presentation. So it's a fairly new presentation for us too. So we are a big producer of fixed layout not accessible, but fixed layout EPUB at the moment. And we would demonstrate by the new platform that we are going to launch right now that the accessibility is also possible with fixed layout. Well, this is the proposed schedule of the presentation. Our choice, we are beginning to produce EPUB-free, only EPUB-free, native EPUB-free since 2010. And since that, because we found the international standards and open format and many interesting features that we needed for EPUB for education. So we work mainly for education publishers, but we do a lot also. We do comics, be they technical, cooking, and so on. So you will see different samples of that. So for EPUB for education, so the basic workflow for that is convert PDF to a fixed layout EPUB. And we've already done 1 million fixed layout pages processed today. So we know a lot about the difficulty of doing that and the solution that we provide. And we enrich, because we're doing education books, we enrich all the fixed layout EPUB by putting audio, video, and a lot of exercises also inside. So 3 million of interactivities created since the beginning. So that's a lot of interactivities put in the books. And we package EPUB, and we deliver the EPUB to the publisher, to our clients. So since the beginning, so we knew that there are some fixed layout limitations. Fixed layout, it's very nice to provide a sophisticated layout. We use the spread view at large, of course. It's beautiful and beautifully created by the publishers. And it's really easy to automate at the beginning. So, and it facilitates the use of interactivity in it. So that's all the concepts which base the education publisher to use fixed layout ebooks. But the cons is, in contrary, because it's display-oriented, it's not mobile at all. I wonder if you try to use a fixed layout on your mobile, but it's quite difficult. So you have to move your fingers all the time. It's not accessible, which is really the to this problem at the moment, and it's not content-aware because it's based on the display, and if you don't inject some semantics information, it's not content-aware. And that's why we have created since 2017 now what we call an hybrid EPUB. An hybrid EPUB is a fixed layout EPUB with a layer of responsive and reflow accessibility on top. If I would say that to answer the accessibility problem, you can't solve by keeping your fixed layout as it is. You need to go to reflow. So in the workflow that we sell to the publishers, we need to convert, we need to implement, together with a fixed layout workflow, reflow workflow as well. And as said in the EPUB fixed layout accessibility draft by the W3C, we need fundamental change to the content to be able to answer the accessibility issues. To name a few, you need to have referable text. We need a reading order, image descriptions, auxiliary content, and many of features that will help the disabled people to be able to read the books. How we do that? I will just introduce two samples. One we conducted to two French research laboratories in France. So it's research laboratories to focus on young children and how to learn, read, and understand what the text, the meaning of the text, and which is the name of the project is EPUB, and it said apprendre à lire facilement, so how to easily read. And to do that, we've implemented what the laboratory and researchers try to provide to simplify the comprehension and the understanding of the text. So which means that each text has an original and a simplified versions. And we have also the quiz and questions and a sort of gamification on top of that to understand what is the level of understanding of each pupil, which means that you could choose other texts in order to facilitate the progression of the learner. So it's the multiple reading levels that we could implement on top of the fixed layout EPUB that you see there. We have also customized display settings. We have a box disk, which is quite full of features, and those display settings could be stored individually, children by children. And we have a synchronized text-to-speech on top of that to, if you don't succeed to read the original text, and if you don't understand the simplified version, and if you don't answer correctly to the question, you are able to listen to the text in order to be at the same time on the same subject in the classroom. All children work on the same subject. Depending of difficulty or not, you have to understand the text, and it's really a project which is fully inclusive in the classroom. No one is left apart. And I will just show you a bit of what we delivered. So that's the video. You see this is a fixed layout page. You see the original text, the adapted version, which is simplified, the questions. And when you click on the text, you could use the box disk here, which is part of the content, with all the features that you could have. You choose the features for your, depending on your dyslexic problem. You could also use the features for the dyspraxia, and also another regular rule system. You could choose different fonts. For example, this one, which is not very good for dyslexia anyway. And the better font for dyslexic is Arial, definitely, and it's proven by some scientific research. This is the version that you see is the original text here. So if I go to the next one.
Entre dans la grotte. Il y a 500 000 grottes en France. C'est dans les sols calcaires du sud qu'on trouve le plus de grottes. Pour qu'une grotte se forme, il faut de l'eau et une roche, le calcaire.
So you could have the text-to-speech, you have the two versions of the original and simplified text, and during that, you could read phrase by phrase, and we have a timer which say, we understand if the children has read correctly or not. So we put an alert if we found that the children read too speedy on the text. So he said, so it means that he hasn't time to read the text correctly, and fortunately, he will not respond to the correct answers. So all those features that you see that, it's a reflow resource with an accessibility toolbox with many features that we could deliver with the new platform that we propose now. And I will let Bastien go into the demonstration of the platform.
So, hi everybody. So now we will see how we could produce this kind of resources with our brand new platform, and how we could use all these resources to build, to make an EPUB reflowable. So the new platform we recently developed has three main features. The first one is the automation, because we could extract content, images, and text directly from the PDF file. And we could also extract, generate a description for image with artificial intelligence techniques. The second one is about customizing styles and also generating text-to-speech in real time in many languages with also artificial intelligence techniques. And also customizing exports of our resources, because we could choose, we can choose all the specifics modules we want to include in our resources to make them accessible. And the last one is about package all these resources into an EPUB reflowable, and to be able to read it, for example, in Thorium. So first, you can see another example of a resource Vincent presented you just before. And we will see how we could produce this resource with our platform. So the first one is what we call the lab environment. And it's just after you upload your PDF into the platform, you will be able to capture the content on the page and extract the images or the text to build a resource, an independent resource, and also customizing the reading order in a smartphone display. And to finish, generate automatically a description for images to make them accessible. So after this work, we could edit our results in the publish environment, where we could add text, update text, or remove text, but also customizing styles with some rules on the styles features. We could generate a text-to-speech in many languages, for example, in English or in French or in Portuguese, and directly test it.
Asparagus is a food plant from the Liliaceae family. Its shoots or spears.
So we could directly test it into the platform and choose what we want to include into our resources. So just after that, we recently added a new page into our platform, which is the place where we could package all our resources into an EPUB reflowable with the extracted table of contents, so the system could recognize where we took the text and the images from the page to rebuild an entire EPUB reflowable with all the resources we want to include in it. So we could edit or update all the table of contents, but also select what resources we want to include or not, and export the result into an EPUB format, and download it, and also check it with the EPUB check, and to see if we have error or warning in the results. So this example was an EPUB for the French Chef Handbook, which is a book of the best practice inside publisher. But we could imagine do it for educational textbooks also. And we could also imagine to put all these resources in a database, in a resources database, resources bank, to make educational resources. Because the resources Vincent showed you just before are a standalone object. So we could launch it in a browser and just see the result directly in the browser. So it's just an example of the result in Thorium. So we could navigate into the EPUB like Daniel explained it just this morning. So it's the version 2 of the reader. And we could use the benefits of the reader on the accessibility features with the EPUB. So thank you for your attention, and we will answer to your question.
Yes. Are there some questions? So here it's a use case where you take a PDF, disintegrate it totally, and make a EPUB out of that. And it's quite interesting, I guess. So, questions? No? Well, yes.
I'm wondering how long is the process from PDF to the accessible file?
To the EPUB reflow,
Yeah.
to the entire EPUB reflow.
If you have an estimation of like a time per page or something like this?
Yeah, it really depends on the original reading order in the PDF. But we work on a way to also recognize the reading order into all the page to make a proposal of a reading order into the EPUB reflow. But I don't have an exact time of how long does it take.
I have a question about the reader with the different accessibility feature for changing the fonts and so on. Is it embedded in the file, or is it a standalone reader?
It's within the content, so within the resource, but it could be exchanged to the reader, because in our reader, we could have the accessibility toolbox without the... So we have a sort of SDK between the reader and the content, and if we don't have this SDK, we have the accessibility inside the content.
Okay, so if you export an EPUB fixed layout, you can have that reader within the EPUB fixed layout. Is it correct? As a widget or something like that?
It's a bit different. The resource could be extracted as a compact export,
Okay.
which has all the code
Technology.
to run all the features which is present in the content.
Okay.